My response to an intrepid New York Times reporter. I got an email from Trip Gabriel, national correspondent for the New York Times yesterday, asking me not about this new Pfizer scientist saying your antibodies are better than the vaccine, or he wasn't asking about the Pfizer whistleblower we have coming out tomorrow. No, the New York Times reporter was asking about Lauren Windsor, probably someone you've never heard of before. The email says, quote, James, do you have comments on Lauren Windsor of The Undercurrent and her series of undercover encounters with Republican officials? She pretends to be a Trump supporter and uses a hidden camera to capture comments GOP leaders might not otherwise openly state. She makes a distinction between what she does and what PV does in your use of operatives to infiltrate groups and your high degree of editing. She says those are ethical lines that she will not cross. Trip Gabriel said this is for a story the New York Times will run shortly. I responded very quickly to Trip Gabriel yesterday, 7 o'clock p.m. Windsor, unlike Project Veritas, who does not selectively edit her videos, was forced to admit that she selectively edited her videos to make her lack of ethics look palatable, including admitting under oath that she selectively edited out her and her close male friend's assault of a young female journalist screaming about a rape barn and "you've been creamed," while following the scared journalist into a cab. The journalist was trying to use to escape Windsor's violent outburst.
You been to the rape barn?
Don't talk, girl.
See you when you get reversed ambush. Watch, bitch. You're the bad guy. You're the bad guy.
You've been creamed!
Did you hear the statement, have you been to the rape bar?
I did.
Who said that?
That was me.
Did those last two statements make your published final version of this confrontation with Ms. Moss?
I don't believe so.
Why not?
Because it wasn't necessary in the narrative that we were trying to produce.
In short, there is no comparison between the established and judicially approved practices of Project Veritas, which are based on decades of widely accepted journalistic ethics, and that of Windsor, who apparently felt it acceptable to chase and accost an unaccompanied female journalist about a rape barn. Also, Lauren Windsor has community-organized plaintiffs to sue us. We have emails from her obtained in lawsuits. Those people did sue us, including one Steve Wentz, president of a teachers union, and a federal judge dismissed that lawsuit on summary judgment, saying, quote, Wentz is unable to sufficiently identify a false statement published by Project Veritas. Quote, the edits do not improperly and illegally alter the meaning of Wentz's words. So we've had multiple federal judges defend our editing. We've also had the New York Times defend our editing. That's right, the New York Times went through the raw Acorn tapes and said nothing was taken out of context. This is Clark Hoyt, Pulitzer Prize-winning then ombudsman for the New York Times, saying, quote, the most damning words match the transcripts and the audio and do not seem out of context. So back to the email I wrote to this intrepid New York Times reporter. I said, quote, Project Veritas has won every lawsuit we've litigated, where federal and state judges have admitted there was nothing edited out of context, and we've recently won a victory on motion to dismiss in our defamation lawsuit against the New York Times. Our reporting and our record speaks for itself. I will happily donate $10,000 to the charity of anybody's choice if that person can point out one deceptive edit in any of our videos in the last decade of our existence. That's the email I sent to the New York Times. They still have not run the story, maybe because they don't want to print anything from what I've said to them. If the New York Times did the right thing, they'd be contacting me about our Pfizer whistleblower tomorrow, because let me just tell you something, Mr. Trip Gabriel, that one is a doozy.